All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Basement Bros Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Elijah. Unfortunately, Ethan is not here today, but instead, we got Dan. Yeah, shout out to Dan, my boy.
That's good.
Uh, Dan Oyefusi. He's a beat writer for the Miami Herald and works for the Dolphins. And yeah, thank you, Dan. Thank you for pulling up on short notice, bro. I know I hit you like last minute to do
That's
this.
all good. You got me on the right day, so I'm always glad to come on for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you. So we'll get right into it. First thing with the NFL, um just a lot of COVID cases. Is really COVID season around the world, but specifically this is a sports show, so we're talking about the NFL. A lot of games have been affected. Specifically, our most notable names is Tyrese Hill and Travis Chelsea for the Chelsea for the Chiefs. The head coach of the Jets, not that they're in contention or anything, but it's still their head coach. And Nick Sirianni, I'm an Eagles fan, so
Yeah.
that kind of sucks. So like what I guess talk about the effects you've seen on COVID around the league and any comment you got on that.
Well, I mean, for sure, man. You started right there. You got like some big name players on the COVID list. Cole Beasley. They from the Bills. He's on the COVID list, and he's not going to play in a big game this weekend against the Patriots
Right.
because he's not vaccinated. So he's got to sit out 10 days. So there's obviously that, and it's like I don't think anybody expected. I mean, like I don't think anybody in the country expected it. So the sports
It's
leagues didn't expect it, and
crazy.
we saw that with them moving like 3 games to we had 2 games on Tuesday, we had an extra game on Monday.
Right.
It was just craziness, and the NFL was like, shoot, we're gonna get this bread, we gotta finish this season. So that's why you
Right.
see they said they even changed the rules where it was like they were testing guys once a week, and they was like, shoot, we're not even gonna test the vaccinated guys anymore unless they got symptoms. So
Right.
I thought it was kind of crazy that it was like they got more cases, and then they were like, we just not gonna test. Like that's how it was when Trump was president and we had hella
Yeah.
cases. Like, he was like, we just not gonna test, and if the tests aren't there, nothing's gonna happen.
We're
so
definitely
that,
in like a we're definitely in like the show goes on phase of COVID
yeah,
where it's
yeah.
like I think the lockdown is just not happening.
It's
Like
not. People saying that we're not going back to a lockdown. Like you remember back when it was like March, we didn't know anything about it.
right,
So they
right.
shut everything down. Like let's figure things out. So after like the summer, where it was like we kind of went through this phase of quarantine, shutdown, lockdown, and they started to kind of figure out, all right, we can distance, we can wear masks, we can do like pod seating. And they was, all right, we just
Yeah.
gonna live with it. And then we had like a resurgence in the last winter, and they was like, we're gonna like kind of go back, but we're not gonna like shut down. It's like we're not
Yeah,
getting shut down. Like
we can't do that again. They
yeah,
walked back, they looked back and was like, yeah, we can't do that again.
yeah,
So
it's too much money lost. So the NFL, I mean, the NFL, they kind of skated, but like last year, they really
right,
didn't have any issues. It was
right,
like the
right, right.
Ravens had an outbreak, and like one or two teams had like a mini outbreak, and that was it. But now
Yeah,
it's
but
like every team.
the stadiums were empty for the most part last
Exactly. So you had that
year.
too, but
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna like lessen the fan attendance. I mean,
Nah.
it's too much money that
Too
was
much.
lost last year to do that. But it's crazy though, because it's like even though they changed some of the rules about like testing back out of off the list, the COVID list, and like not testing guys at all, like there's still, I think somebody said there's like 197 players on the COVID list right now.
Oh my
Like the
god.
Ravens got like 15, and
Oh my
they already
god.
got hella injuries. So I don't know. I mean, there's a good chance. I mean, I don't know anything. I'm just kind of looking at the numbers, and I'm like, hey, it's Wednesday, and there's teams with like 12, 13 guys on the COVID list. I wouldn't be surprised if they end up, postponing or rescheduling another game. But it's crazy, man.
Well, I mean, with the NFL, they try to make it like the show goes on.
Yeah,
And I guess this next game is a transition of that. We'll talk about the squad, you know,
yeah.
fly Eagles fly. But this was one of the games affected by COVID. And I don't know, like I'm as an Eagles fan, I'm happy about the game, but at the same time, it's like we beat them because they're on their third string quarterback. So that doesn't
Yeah.
really tell me anything about the Eagles. But I guess this could be a trend going forward for teams. Is like teams gonna have to play with their third, fourth string quarterback.
Yeah.
Um, And I mean, I don't really know how you feel. Like, do you feel like it's an asterisk on the ring or progression for a team if they
Nah,
have,
man, you take Brady. That's a no.
you not yeah,
The
right? You
Eagles,
know?
the Eagles taking it, Drake. But I know you and some fans was feeling some type of way when it was 10-0.
Oh man,
Bro, if the Eagles lost that game,
bro.
I don't know what would have happened, right? Because they was sick from the beginning that they even rescheduled that game. So if the Eagles lost that game to the Washington's third string quarterback, I
Oh
don't know what
my
would have
god.
happened, bro.
All right.
Eagles
Yeah.
fans would have been on 100.
So if for people who didn't watch the game, Eagles first drive is like fourth down. They go for it on fourth down. No, they go for it on third down. They go for it on third down, and is it within third or fourth? I'm not 100% sure, but they throw the ball to Derek Goddard either on the third or fourth down.
It was
Important
a third down. It
position.
was third down. It was third down because they
Third
thought it was
down.
about to be a punt, and Landon Collins
Right.
had the ball like it
Right.
like bounced off of like the back of his foot. Like he dropped it and it bounced off the back of his foot,
And it was an
and Landon
interception.
Collins got it. Yeah.
I was like, bruh, there's no way the game's about to start like this. So they go ahead and score on that drive. Then the next drive, the Eagles go all the way up the field, and Jalen Hurts gets sacked he gets strip fumbled. uh, like Leonard Collins recovers the fumble. And then they scored 3 on this. I'm like, okay, so this is just a loss. We're about to lose this game to a third string quarterback. And I was stressed. But for the rest of the game, I mean, the defense held out. Jalen Hurts played, he didn't turn the ball over again. He played all right. He had 2 touchdowns, which made him the number one in Eagles French, like in a season, most touchdowns in a season for a quarterback, 10 touchdowns.
Most rushing touchdowns. Yeah.
Right, rushing touchdowns for a quarterback in a season. So I mean, I guess it turned around for him, but I guess the question turns to, do you think he's the guy in Philly? Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes I think he is. The game that really threw me off, I was kind of in his corner for a long time, and then he had the Giants game. But I chalk it up to kind of just, this is basically his real rookie season, his
Yeah.
tested out season. So, but he was really bad in the Giants game, and the Giants defense is nothing to be impressed about.
Yeah.
He had 3 picks in that game. And probably arguably single-handedly, I feel like lost us that game. But he does a lot of good things. And I'm starting to try kind of compare him to maybe McNabb as maybe a ceiling of what he can be.
I mean,
Ceiling.
McNabb took him to Super Bowl in like 2, 3 NFC Championship games. So that's a pretty high ceiling. I mean,
That's a
that's
pretty high
like
ceiling. But also coaching was different. Andy Reid, one of the best coaches in NFL probably history.
exactly.
So I mean, you gotta say McNabb with Nick Sirianni as the coach. So we gotta see that it's not exactly the same, but
Yeah.
I think his ceiling is McNabb. I think he has to get better as a thrower, but
Mhm.
I just don't know if the Eagles will give him time to get better.
Yeah, I mean, I think they one of the teams that were kind of interested in Deshaun Watson. They're kind of seeing if they could trade for him. And
Right,
I mean, that's their NFC team, so I don't watch too much of them. But it was
right.
interesting, like while I was watching that game, and he had like a kind of like a rough start to that game, and I was like, I know, like along with you, like I also follow like some other Eagles fans and some like
Right,
Eagles
right.
reporters, and they was all like kind of hard on him. They was just like,
Oh yeah.
I don't know how much of this we could do. And then he starts balling afterward. And everyone was like, oh, we all cool. I ain't hear nothing for the rest of the game.
No, no, no.
So
You gotta just get used to Philly fandom. It's very we play extremes. We extremes, bro.
that
It's
must be
like,
it. Cause they was
nah,
like they was going in on him after like after the fumble, they was just like, we can't take no more of this.
it's so crazy because I always like to say like it's them and not me, but it's like I'm actually kind of sick when it comes to it too, bro. Like after the fumble, I'm like, bro, we can't do this with him no more, man. I'm like, it's over. I'm like, we gotta get him out. Get Gardner Minshew in the game. He plays well. I sit back and think, I'm like, man, but the Goddard pick wasn't really his fault,
Like it wasn't. Like
It was
it
a lot of
wasn't.
drops.
I think he may have missed like a receiver too in the red zone, like when he almost got Devontae hurt.
He threw
People
that
was just like,
double coverage. He threw that
yeah,
double
yeah,
coverage,
yeah.
which is bad.
So it's
But
that, but like you said, he's a rookie. Like I
right,
know early on, like he was balling early on. Like he's putting some crazy numbers, everyone was kind of comparing him to Lamar, and I don't like doing that because Lamar is like OC, like that's an MVP. So I
Yeah.
don't like comparing every like black running quarterback that comes into the league.
Right.
It's like
Right.
they
Right.
not like Lamar is on
Right.
a different level. I know he's struggling this season, but that's a former MVP. So I mean, I get the comparisons. I don't think he's as athletic as Lamar. He's probably like a notch below as a passer, but but especially with like young guys like him, especially like the more mobile guys, I feel like especially them, you don't see like the patience because it's like we know that they can run, and then they kind of get the stigma, oh, they're not
Right.
like a good passer. But you can improve as a passer. Like Lamar improved as a passer, Josh Allen improved as a passer, Cam improved as a passer a
Yeah.
little bit when he came into the league. So you just gotta like build around it. It's crazy. It's like we got like a lot of young quarterbacks in the league, especially rookies that are starting right now. It's like nobody wants to give him patience. It's just like they trash him.
Yeah, it's definitely a win now type of like atmosphere now. Every team is like they used to give quarterbacks years. It used to be terrible quarterbacks for
Like for
years.
4 or 5 years, just
4
like
or
letting
5,
them play. And
8
after like the
years.
second, it's like if you're not like very good after your second year, they're like, man, they might have to draft another quarterback in the first
Right,
round.
right,
And I'm
yeah.
like, it's too many Madden Warriors. You know, I mean, I'm from the era of the French Madden franchise era where we just like draft a quarterback and make him a 95 in 2 years, and everything. But like, it don't work like that. Like,
Right, right, right,
you can't
yeah.
just like snap your finger and then you a all pro quarterback. So I mean, they should
Right.
definitely give it time. Especially because they drafted him like the second round too. Like it's not like he's like a 6th round pick and he just kind of stumbled on the starting job. It's like that's a second round pick. You gotta
The
give him some
issue
time.
is though, the issue is that they have 3 first round picks dangling in front of them.
Yeah, that's
So
the thing. That's the thing.
they got it like, Carson Wentz officially passed the threshold
So
of
that's not gonna be a
game.
first rounder, right?
So, yeah, so that is gonna be a first rounder. We're
Oh,
officially gonna
so it's if he played that amount of time, like 75% or something like that.
Yeah,
They
you have
would.
to play 75% of the snaps.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be an extra first rounder. Yeah, I mean the thing is they're saying like the quarterback class isn't even that good
Yeah.
like this year. So it's like unless you're getting like Watson or you're getting Russell Wilson, or Rodgers, like I mean I won't say you stuck with him because he's only in his second year, but
Yeah.
you got to give it some time for real. Like it.
Yeah, I mean, I would personally like them to use those picks to build around the team because I just feel like the trend is, you build a team and then a quarterback. If you get a quarterback,
You
then
see
you
how
go,
good they are then. Yeah, like you
yeah,
can't judge them when like you don't have a full team around them. Yeah.
right, right. Now it's like the quarterback has to be good enough where he can elevate a bad team
Which
to be
I get
on the
that.
roster.
But it's gotta like you gotta have like some middle ground with it. Like
Yeah,
you can't blame everything on him, but
right.
then
It's like
no.
how can you accurately evaluate this person if they don't have what they need as like I feel like all the best quarterbacks, with the exception of maybe Aaron Rodgers, they've always had weapons around them. Maybe, and you can argue Brady, but I think he's coaching has always been on this side. But Brady's had players. But like I think Aaron Rodgers kind of elevates talent.
Nah, for sure, for sure.
Because you've seen some of his players go somewhere and not have as much impact. But I
Yeah.
think Brady has also had, guys. They always the thing with Brady is always he can get a guy off the street and make him good. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
But besides them, you can't really name a quarterback that didn't have like Hall of Fame talent around them and was successful.
The
It's
one
just
thing, the one
go.
thing that I even like really hit me this year because I feel like I don't know about you, but it feel like it's been some bad games. Bro. I watched some like bad football,
Yeah, it's
and
been
it just
bad.
like it really hit me that like playing quarterback is like mad hard. Like even
It's
Patrick
hard.
Mahomes was struggling
It's
earlier
hard.
this year,
He's
so it's
still kind
like
of struggling, to be
so,
honest.
so like even like so I remember somebody put a tweet out a couple weeks ago, and it was like it's really a 3-man league between Brady, Rodgers, and Mahomes for like the best quarterback. Like we like every couple of years we got like throw Russell Wilson in there, like, oh, is he a top 3
Yeah,
quarterback? Is
right,
Lamar?
right.
It's really those three, and then
Yeah,
everyone else is like really good to good, kind of shaky. So it's tough to like it's tough, and it's like even those teams. It's crazy because even like the best like you said, the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Like if you just look at Rodgers, Mahomes, Brady,
right,
they all got
right,
great teams around them. To be honest, like they're great
right,
quarterbacks, and they elevate that to some extent. But they
right.
still got great teams around them. So you
Yeah.
definitely got to give them some time and
You
build
need a
around them.
great team. You need a great team. And I think a lot of GMs, specifically the Eagles GM, is just so fascinated with the quarterback that
Hmm.
like they kind of neglect the rest of the team. And since we won a Super Bowl with, having two quarterbacks, because our situation was unique in that, like, we lost our starting quarterback and won with our backup.
Yeah.
Now they're like brainwashed to think that quarterback is the end
Not
all be
important.
all. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
you say,
like,
they think it's the end all be all. They
yeah,
don't.
no, they think we have to have a 5 or 6 good quarterbacks on the roster. And
The
no
Eagles got a
matter who
solid
else is
roster though. The Eagles got. I mean, like I said, I was watching the game yesterday. They got a solid roster. Like I think for real, it's probably like the offensive line that you gotta fix a little bit. And
no, the
then
offensive line is the best part of our team. The problem is we don't have we don't really have a wide receiver core besides
yeah, outside
Smith
Devontae and Goddard.
and Goddard
Yeah,
being a pass catcher. But it's like, but besides, like, Greg Ward used to be a quarterback. Now
yeah,
he's a
yeah.
he's
He's
a
a wide
quarterback.
receiver. Yeah,
Quez Watkins, they got him off the street. Like, it's a lot. We don't have any 50-50 throw ball guys. And
yeah,
Hurts likes to throw the 50-50 ball to, like, people who don't really do that. Like
yeah.
speed guys, short speed guys. So yeah, I mean, I definitely think they should use those picks to build around him.
I keep
But
on saying that Eagles are going to be busy. Like
yeah,
I remember earlier in the year, I'm trying to think they got their own pick. They got
right.
who else's pick they got? Is
We
it
got
the
the
Dolphins?
Dolphins pick.
Bro,
Dolphins
when the
pick.
Dolphins, because I'm a dog, bro. When the
Yeah.
Dolphins were like sticking it up, I was like, yo, the Eagles about to be
Bro,
cooking.
I'm so mad, y'all.
Because
Went on
the
a win.
Eagles were struggling too. So it was like top 3 pick, top 5 pick, top 10 pick.
I'm so tight. I was so tight that y'all went on a win streak,
No, but
man. I
the
mean,
crazy thing is that pick is still only like the Dolphins are 7-7, but there's so many like 7-7 teams
right,
that
right, right,
that
right,
pick is
right.
still like 11 or 14 or something crazy like that. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's still a high pick for them.
I definitely need y'all to lose like 3 games to go down the slot to 7-7 teams. But I mean, I ain't gonna wish that on y'all. I like the Dolphins organization. We gonna go to the. I mean, I keep saying y'all. You're not even really a fan. You just cover the
Nah, I'm just
squad.
I just covered the team, man. I just
Right,
covered
right,
the team.
But let's move on to a game that surprised me. The Lions end up shocking the Cardinals. And this is the second week in a row the Cardinals have lost. I guess the first loss against the Rams, so it's like, okay, it's the Rams. The Rams have a squad. Then it's the Lions. You gotta beat the Lions, but I guess they were unable to. So what's going on with the Cardinals? 30-12. Um,
Yeah.
are the Cardinals bad or good? Are they good? Like, I don't know what's going
I
on.
mean, they're not playing good right now. It's funny because they were like my like sleeper pick like before the season started. I thought they were
Right,
going to win the NFC West. Like I don't know. I just kind of looked at the schedule. I mean, they finished like third or whatever last year, so it was like they're playing an easier schedule.
right, right.
I was like, I like Kyler, I like Hopkins. They got AJ Green, they got JJ Watt. I mean, it was like it's a nice squad. Like it's not like they're not like world beaters, but like it's a nice squad. And I'm not sure. It's like it's a weird season. Like that's the only thing I can say.
Yeah,
I watched the Rams game and it's just like Kyler just looked off. Like I don't know what it was. He just like early the first game of the season he came out going crazy through
right,
like
right, right.
I mean really the first half of the season they were talking about him for MVP until he got hurt. So again it's a weird season and it's like we've seen a lot of teams just kind of like just lose 5 games and win 4 straight games and I mean, the Lions, I'll say one thing, they fight, bro. Like they were losing like a whole bunch of like
Yeah,
field
close
goal,
games,
game winning
really
field
close
goals. They
games.
lost to the Ravens on a 66
Yeah,
yarder. They lost to the Vikings. They've been coming close.
right, right.
So they're not as bad. I mean, they're a bad team, but
Yeah,
they're not as bad as their
the
record may
record.
seem.
Yeah,
Like they really been in these games, to be honest. So
yeah. I agree. I think maybe next year they'll probably be even better. But for the Cardinals, like, I mean, I also thought that they were going to be good. Like, I remember telling Ethan to watch out for the Cardinals early on in the season. But I mean, I can't say it's a trend because this is only the second year it's happened, but 2 years in a row, they
they kind
start
of
off hot. Kyler Murray gets injured
yeah
and then they fall off a cliff. He doesn't play as well when D Hop isn't in the game, which I'm sure, I mean, that probably applies for every quarterback.
yeah.
But his it kind of drops drastically for him. So it's just, I don't know what the Cardinals are. I don't know if like I don't know if I give them a chance to really. I mean, I can't. It's difficult because a lot of good teams have made. This has been like a trend throughout this season. Just teams just losing to everybody, anybody. It's
Anybody
literally
can get got. That's how
any
it is.
given Sunday has never been truer than this season. It's like it's like, bro, it's crazy. So
Yeah.
I mean, it could be a fluke game. Um, of course, when you lose a
I
two in a
mean, I don't
row,
know when you lose like that. It's not like they lost like crazy. It's not like they got a bad call. I mean, they got beat like by 18 or whatever.
yeah,
I can't call it. I mean, like you said, it's every given Sunday because if they play that game 10 times, if it's like a best of seven series, the Cardinals probably gonna
right.
win the next four. But again, it's just like that's the type of season it is. Like
Yeah, definitely that type of season. It's been a weird one. It's been a weird one. Um, and I mean, I guess the weirdom continues with the next game. Uh, the Saints come out and beat the Bucks, shut out the Bucks, which
yeah,
is just so weird. The Saints and Bucks relationship. I mean, I always
they've been cooking
understand.
Brady since he came over here, bro.
Right,
Since he came
right,
over there, he
right. I
only got
mean,
on once in the playoffs.
Brady. You can say at the end of the day that Brady did get him when it counts the most because he won in
Yeah,
the playoff game. And I already know Brady is a different beast. But like, what's good with the regular season? Like, what always goes back to my mind is this season. I don't know if you watched the Manning cast when they play. When the Manning brothers talk on, I think
yeah, I watched that a little bit.
is that Thursday night or
Well,
Monday
well,
night?
it's on Monday
Thursday
night, but
night.
it's like the
Monday night.
ESPN2 broadcast. Yeah,
Right, right. So I saw that. I saw when Brady was on there, and Brady was talking about how like defensive players aren't that smart. So I just imagine like in a perfect world, I like to like imagine like every week, like the teams like just put that on their bulletin board, and the defensive teams like, okay, so we dumb, right? So we got so I thought that would be like something to look out for, and defensive
yeah,
teams like killed the Bucks ever since he made that statement. I mean, that hasn't been the case. The Bucks have been, pretty consistently good. But it's just the Saints. I don't know. The Saints just got their number. Um,
yeah.
it's not even like they were cooking offensively.
They
It's not
weren't.
like they
They weren't.
yeah, it was just
I mean, yeah. I mean, Saints got a tough defense though. Like they really do. Like I
right,
don't. I don't know about that offense with Taysom Hill. That's
right,
another story. But that defense is tough. And it
right.
was also like a weird game where like they lost Fournette, they lost Godwin, they lost Mike Evans.
Going for the season.
Yeah,
Um,
they lost Godwin for the season. So it's like, I mean, by like the third quarter, Brady was throwing like you and me. I mean, let me stop playing. But he was like, I'm not gonna,
I don't know.
I
You
don't
put
know
the
who he was throwing to
214
outside
there.
like Gronkowski. Uh, so it was I mean, yeah, they played him hard, but it's also like he didn't have like his top
Right, right,
two
right, right.
receivers and top running back. And it's like we just said it. Like if you lose your top receiver, you gonna kind of struggle a bit. He lost his two top receivers and his top running back. Um, I still think that like overall the Bucks are probably gonna be fine. I mean, as
Right.
long as they don't have to play the Saints, I guess in the playoffs, they should be straight. But it was just like it's one of those weird games because it was like you would think that like they would like get like a field goal or something, especially
Right,
because
right.
it's not like the Saints offense was doing anything. He only scored 9 points. It was just one of those games again. It's like it's really like we keep on saying like we can probably go to like talk about 5 games this past week and it'd be like, oh, it's just one of those games. Like it's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, this is a crazy season. I do Antonio Brown is supposed to come back for them,
Yeah.
which I'm surprised that he's allowed to play.
I mean, once I think they already said he was gonna come back, but once Godwin and Mike Evans went down, he was like,
Yeah.
we not getting rid of
I know
him.
they're so happy they did not cut him after that. They did
That's
not cut him
facts.
because yeah, talent will take you far. Even if you commit a felony, if you are good enough in the NFL, they'll take you back. Um,
Oh man.
yeah, but we'll go on to the next game. I mean, well, actually, no. So, How do you feel about the Bucks overall? Like, I mean, and we'll talk about each of the NFC, the AFC and the NFC later. But like, how do you feel about the Bucks? Do you think like they're still a threat after that game? All the injuries, like, what do you think about them?
I mean, the injuries are starting to pile up. So I mean, I'm definitely if you're like a Bucks fan, you definitely got to be worried about that. One
Yeah,
thing, and I was talking to somebody about this on Twitter, and they was like, it's such a weird season that they were like, I could see like a wild card team just like running the table. And I was like, I kind of view it like the other way around. Like, you know how they changed the seeding, the playoff seeding. So it's seven
Right.
teams, but only one bye. I'm like, for real, if you don't get the bye, like that's rough because it's like I feel like it's the other way. I feel like I don't trust any team to win like 3 straight games. Like I don't trust a wild card team to
That's
like
true.
win
That's
three
true.
straight games. So it's like I'd rather just get that bye. You
Yeah.
never even know. I have a weird feeling that COVID is gonna like mess up one of these playoff games. Like somebody's
Right.
gonna lose like 8 guys 2 days
Right.
before the playoff game. So it's
Yeah.
like I'd rather just get that bye. And now that you lost to the Saints, I think that they're in a tie for it with the Packers. They might be one game behind the Packers. Um, so again, I don't see the Packers losing another game this season. And if you don't get that bye, then it's just like, man,
It's
you
tough.
gotta like the NFC. I don't think that it's weird. I don't think that I think the best teams in the NFC are better than the best teams in the AFC because I don't even really think that, I think there's one like
Right.
possibly
Right.
great team
Right.
in the AFC being the
Yeah.
Chiefs. So I think that the best teams in the NFC are better than the AFC, but the AFC has a little more have more depth to it. Where like if you get to like the wild card teams, like those are like some pretty tough teams, like the
Right.
Chargers and the
Right.
Bills. So like if you get into if you have to play like if you win the division or whatever, like they gonna win the division, and then you gotta play a wild card team at home. I think you can win that game, but it's gonna be tough to like win 2 games next. Um, or win 2 games coming up after that. And one game you're gonna have to go on the road. And, they found a way last year to do it, but this year I don't know. I just feel like you just really need that bye.
Yeah. Yeah. This is it. I feel like this is gonna be a very interesting playoffs. I think you're right, definitely 100% right that the one seed is more important than it's ever been. I think with this season it has to be. It's
Yeah,
just because of COVID. Um, if some like imagine somebody gets COVID the first week, getting that bye can be the difference between you having players or not. Like
exactly.
it's just more. It's the most important thing right now is getting that number one seed. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Moving forward. Next we'll go on to the Colts and the Patriots. They had a kind of surprising game. I had a feeling the Colts were going to win, but
Hmm.
at one point it was 20-0 in the
Yeah,
game.
yeah. I woke. I like kind of fell asleep in the first half, and it was 20-0. I thought it was a dream. I was
Yeah.
like, oh snap! They doing the Patriots like the Patriots did the Bills the other week. Like I was. Um,
I mean, so I guess like, well, first the question on here is Jonathan Taylor in the MVP conversation, and I feel like it's kind of like straightforward. Like, yeah, he's in the conversation, but like, is he really in the conversation? Because we know how the conversation goes: is quarterback, 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 quarterback. So,
yeah.
like, do you think that he's actually in the conversation?
I think so because I mean we were just talking about it. Like the quarterback play has not been like very good this year.
That's true.
Um, like Mahomes is like starting to put it together, but he had a real weird rough stretch where he was throwing like mad picks, not a lot
Right.
of touchdowns or yards. Even if I know they're on like a 5 or 6 game win streak, whatever, but even if
Right.
they like run the table, I don't think it would be enough for him to like get the MVP. Um, Brady just had a rough game. Kyler Murray fell off. Stafford kind of fell off a little bit. It's really like just Rodgers, honestly.
Yeah, it's
Um,
Rogers. I think it's Rogers and Taylor at this point.
so if Rodgers like, I don't think he's gonna slip. I think Rodgers is probably gonna win MVP, unless he just like really slips up these last 3 games.
Right.
I'm not sure what pace. See, this is the thing. People, I don't know exactly what Jonathan Taylor's numbers are, but somebody said he's not even on pace to like break like Henry's numbers.
Yeah, no, he's not. He's
So
not.
they were
But
like, so that's the thing. They were like, if we didn't give Henry any MVP votes, you can't give Henry any MVP votes.
no,
Um,
but while I do see that as an argument, I think it's a little different this year because last year it seemed like Aaron Rodgers was the clear favorite. Like he was the clear favorite. At one point in the
yeah, I guess
season,
so.
he was pretty like I think he had it was a certain point in the season, pretty deep in the season, he only had like 4 picks. He had
Yeah,
like he had like 20 something touchdowns and like 4 picks. So it's like he was the clear MVP. I think right now he is the front runner just because he is a quarterback and he's only had one bad game. And Jonathan Taylor didn't really start too hot, but
yeah. He really picked it up like week 6. Like I remember, like he like went off for like 150 against the
right,
Ravens or something like that. And after that, he just kind of he really picked it up. So
he had like
it's tough.
170, ran for like 170 on the Patriots.
My thing is like I think the last running back to win it was like Adrian Peterson. and
Right,
he
right,
like
right.
broke
You gotta break the record.
he broke the rushing record that year. He
Right,
can't go close or something like that. So it's
right,
like if you don't break the record, like you can run for 1,800, but it's like all right,
right.
whatever. I
I
feel
mean,
like if
but
he
you
breaks the
can't
record,
argue. I mean, if we're the argument, I mean, I think the argument kind of makes itself for Aaron Rodgers just because he had the COVID game, and we saw what Jordan Love looked like. He
yeah,
is
yeah,
the most
yeah,
valuable player
yeah. But it's
because
like
that game was terrible.
yeah, I like to simplify it and say like if we took you out and we put an average player at your position, how much change would there be? Like that's what value
Right,
is to me.
right,
And
right,
I feel
right.
like he's been and that's why I say I feel like he should be in there, but I don't know if he's like the front runner, if he's like top, or if he's like at the top of
But
it.
games where he runs for over 100 yards, they're undefeated
They're
this
you're
season.
undefeated, exactly,
So
exactly.
I
So
mean, if
I
you
think
put
he
an
definitely should
average
be up
stat,
there. Like if you're gonna put him up there, I think you got to put Cooper Cup in there because he's literally the
right,
offense. Like you could,
that's
I
true.
mean, he played with an average quarterback last year in Jared Goff, and he was
That's
still
true.
putting up crazy numbers. So it's like I said, it's an interesting year where like we don't have a lot of great quarterback play. So that's why we're seeing guys like we really don't usually see guys like that are like skill position players like running backs and wide receivers and tight ends that are like getting like all this MVP love. I think it's just because we have so many bad quarterbacks, like
Right, right, right.
so much bad quarterback play. Um, and then obviously like it's a 17th game, so the numbers are gonna be kind of skewed. I mean, Cooper Cup was putting up some like crazy numbers. Like it's like 3 games left, and he already like broke like a whole bunch of. He's
Yeah,
like
he's about
on
to
pace
break.
to
He
like
might break the all-time receiver record this
yeah,
season.
yeah, yeah. So that's kind of crazy. So it's like I'm saying like if he breaks that record, I mean, you gotta. I think that because most people would say like Stafford is a pretty good quarterback, I don't think Cooper Cup's gonna get any votes. But if you're gonna put Jonathan Taylor in there, I mean, why not put Cooper Cup in there?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's fair. I can see that. I just think I just think receiver is just so dependent.
Yeah, yeah, that's
It's just
fair.
such a it's such a dependent position that it's hard. You gotta. I mean, but yeah, you're right. I guess I was about to say you gotta do something historic, and he is doing something historic. So maybe there is a lane for him.
Yeah,
But I think people associate something with like dominance, and I don't know, for some reason maybe it's because he's a white receiver. I don't know. Like he's not really like associated with dominance.
I mean,
You
he
know what
get
I
it
mean?
done, bro. I
He
mean,
does.
looking
He
at
does.
the
I
box
agree.
score, and
I
it's like
agree.
13 catches, 125 yards, two
Yeah, I agree.
touchdowns. He
I
gets
agree.
it
And
done.
he's like leading the league in like yards after catch and everything. But it's
Yeah.
like it's just you when you think about dominant receivers in the league, you don't think about Cooper Cup. That's just what it
Yeah,
is.
I mean, I put like I was watching the Rams Cardinals game, and I put like a tweet out like Cooper Cup is a top whatever wide receiver, and there was people trying to say like top 15, top 20. I was like, bro, he is like top 10,
Yeah,
and it's
gotta be.
somebody was trying to say based off talent, he's like top 20, but off of
But
production,
what
he's
does
like
that
top.
mean? He
I was like that
catches
is
the
yeah, I was like that doesn't mean anything. I don't care about the attributes and how he looks like. I care about what's he doing, what's he doing on the field. And I'm like,
right.
right now, there's no wide receiver that's like I don't like. I'm sorry, like I mean, he's better than like Julio right now. He's better than a lot of these
Julio.
dudes who he might not have the body of work and kind of like the legacy of some of these guys. But I mean, I'm trying to. I don't see a wide receiver that's
He's definitely more
other than like
available than Julio.
other
Huh?
than Devontae Adams. I don't see a
Yeah.
wide receiver that's like just consistently putting up the numbers and getting it done like he is right now. And that's just facts. Like
I mean, you
he's
still gotta put D Hop in there. D Hop being a little hurt, but D Hop still, come on.
yeah,
He
yeah. I
I
mean, if like if they're all if I feel like if you put them all the wide receivers next to each other and it's like they're all healthy, right now, you're probably gonna take a lot of you probably take some younger guys like Justin Jefferson and
right, right,
some of
right.
these other younger guys
Nah, but
because you
I
see
take
they
him.
got that level. But I mean, right now nobody is doing it, and people saying like, oh, they throwing him the ball all the time. He's playing in the slot. I'm like, it
He's
don't
open.
matter.
He's
It don't
open.
matter.
He's
It
open.
don't matter. He getting it done. Like I
He's
don't like all
open.
this. I don't like all these asterisks on it. Like he's getting the job done.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. I personally, I don't know if you know about my vendetta towards Matthew Stafford. Um, I don't have a personal vendetta towards him. This is a tangent. This is a tangent. So I'll briefly touch on this and move on. I personally think that I thought the amount of picks they traded for Matthew Stafford was too much. My little brother and Swati disagree. They'd be
Yeah,
like,
I thought it was kind of hectic. It was like 3 first
it was
rounders.
like 3 first rounders and like a second rounder.
See this. Well, you got to look at it this way. They weren't trading the picks to get Matt Stafford. They were trading the picks to get rid of Jared Goff. That's how you got to look at it.
I mean, Jared
So
Goff took you to a Super Bowl. Listen, we can't get into this because it's going to be a
yeah,
tangent.
yeah,
I'll make this a whole separate pod where I'll
yeah.
just rant about Matthew Stafford for a while. But but we'll talk about the Patriots briefly. How did this loss make you feel? Because the Patriots were one of the hottest teams in the league. Do you still feel like they're dominant in the AFC? They got shut out, but I mean, I feel like a lot of teams have had duds, and I also think the Colts are pretty good. So, but at the same time, people were saying that the Patriots were the 2001 Patriots, so they're Super Bowl bound. People were saying that the Patriots are the best team in the AFC. So how do you feel about them after this loss?
I mean, I don't feel like any differently than I felt about them before. I thought that was like kind of like a lot of unwarranted Mac Jones type. And
Right.
it's like we got to remember. I mean, he's throwing the ball like 5 yards down the field, and they running the ball great and playing great defense. So he's just kind of like being a game manager. I don't really like to use that term a lot, but I mean he's doing what he's got to do, and he's
Right.
not screwing it up. I'll say that he's not screwing it up. Um, but it doesn't change much because, like I was saying, I mean the AFC there's only one team in the AFC that I think could be like potentially great, and that's the Chiefs. And
Right.
it's crazy now. The Chiefs, everybody was clowning the Chiefs, and they got the number one seed now. Um, so I mean, again, if outside of the Chiefs, I feel like anybody can beat anybody on any given day. To be honest,
Yeah.
you know, so that's just how it is. And like you said, everyone, like every team in the AFC has had like one just really really bad game. So I mean, I give that to them. I don't recall any other game where they just kind of like didn't show up, like the Colts game. So you just kind of chalk it up to that. But it didn't change much because again, I mean,
Yeah.
it's like every team in the AFC or like there's like 12 teams in the AFC that have 6 or 7 losses. So that just shows how like kind of close it is in that conference.
Yeah, I agree. I agree for sure. Well, let's move on to the playoff picture. We'll start with the NFC just because I feel like it's a little bit more clear cut about what
Yeah,
potentially could go on.
yeah, you
Um,
already got like six of those spots. I mean, you only one of the teams clinched. I think the Packers only team
right,
that clinched, but I mean it's pretty clear who's gonna win the division outside of the West.
right. Yeah, the West is kind of up in the air. But I guess the Packers. Who do you got? Who you got? Who you think is making it out the NFC overall?
I mean, I think the Packers right now because they got
I
that
agree.
1 game lead. They got that 1 game lead. They're gonna get that bye. They're gonna be playing at home. They might get some. I don't know. I know they got some injured guys like Jair Alexander, David Bakhtiari,
Right.
their offensive tackle. So if they get the bye, they're at home and they get some of those guys back. Yeah, I mean like the Cowboys are a little. I don't know what it is with like Dak and the offense, but they just kind of off.
Yeah.
The Bucks got some injuries. The Cardinals are just kind of like they just kind of fell off. The Rams, they're an interesting pick because they really came on strong at the beginning of the year.
Right.
And I don't know what it's just they're a weird team because they just have like so many stars on that team that it's like if the stars kind of have an off day or whatever, it's like who else is gonna step up? So it's like if Stafford is just kind of off, like do they have a running game that they can just kind of rely on? Um, but it's interesting because again, like I said, like I think I mean even I know I said that the AFC has like more depth to it. But I mean, those are two interesting wild cards. Like one of those NFC West teams is gonna get the wild card. Or no, I said one of the. Well, I was gonna say that's two NFC West teams in there. As a matter of fact, so the 49ers are looking good too. Like that, they're an interesting team. Like if they play
Yeah.
the Buccaneers right now, that's what it looks like. That'd be an interesting matchup. I think the Bucks will probably win that game, but it's not gonna be like a cakewalk. And obviously you got the 7th seed right there, which is just kind of like it's kind of a
Fly
toss
Eagles
up.
fly. Fly Eagles fly.
We gonna say you gotta. I mean, well, you gotta play everybody in the division to finish it. So you just gotta. I think you gotta play the Giants, so you'll win that game.
Yeah, the Giants. We got the Giants. Then we got football team again. Then we got the ending off with the Cowboys. And
Yeah.
hopefully by then the Cowboys don't need to win anything because they clinched the division. They're resting Dak.
See, that's an interesting thing because I was gonna say because usually you just have usually you got two buys, so usually it's like teams that's going to play for. So I wonder like if you
Right.
get to week 18 and it's like the like I wonder, let's say a team is in like the third seed or whatever. Like say the Cowboys in the third seed and they can get to the second seed or they can drop to the fourth seed. Like would they just say kind of like whatever, like we got the division clinched up, let's rest our guys, or would they say like let's actually try to get to the second seed? Because it's like if you get to the let's say you get to the second seed and then the Packers lose in the second round and you win in the second round, that means you hosting the NFC Championship game. As
Right.
opposed to like, let's say you lost. I don't know. It's just I don't know. I think it's interesting to see what's going to happen in Week 18 with some of these divisions being clinched. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I don't think any team will mail it in earlier than they have to though. Just
yeah,
because
yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like I think you want, especially while your offensive people out there, maybe they want like I'd say you probably want momentum going into the playoffs as
But I
opposed
think I
to.
think you want health more than
That's true.
anything.
That is
So
true.
you
Hell,
don't want to like I'm saying like you don't want to, especially because the Cowboys like Zeke is kind of injured, Tony Pollard's kind of
that's
injured.
true. That's true.
You don't want to put Dak in harm's way over a game that don't really matter. That's what I'm saying. Like if they're like a third seed or they're let's say they're second seed, and let's say they're the second seed and they know they can't get to the first seed, where they just kind of be like, all right, shoot, this game don't mean nothing for us. Like we're playing next week anyway. Let's rest like our starting quarterback, our starting running back, two of our wide receivers, and then we'll have like most of the defensive starters play. You know what I'm saying? I'd be interested to see if somebody does that.
But yeah, that would actually be crazy. Um.
I mean, we saw last year. The Eagles pulled Hurts out
Oh,
of the game.
that's true. That's true. But that was. I feel like that was to. I feel like we. I don't think that was to win. I think we were already eliminated because we lost the week
Yeah,
before.
who were they playing again? They were playing the.
We playing the football team, and we sat Hurts. And the Giants were mad because if we beat them, then the Giants would have made it to the playoffs, and if we lost, I
The
mean,
football team,
then the
and
football
that's what
made it, and
happened.
that's what
Yeah,
happened.
yeah.
Yeah,
That was hilarious. That was
yeah.
hilarious.
But I don't understand how the Cowboys are the second seed with the same record as the Bucks when the
So
Bucks.
they got some crazy tiebreakers once they do once they get to like three team, and I honestly don't know it off the top of my head. But once they get to like three teams, it's kind of like some crazy tiebreakers. So it
Okay,
might be it might be like head to I don't even know. I'm trying to think.
it says
Yeah,
7 part. Okay, I think I just found them. Actually, it's a lot of rules, so never
yeah,
mind.
yeah, yeah. It's a lot. So
It's a
so
lot,
the pack. Sorry, the Bucks beat the Cowboys. So if it was like just
right?
those teams, the Bucks would have been ahead. But once you get three teams, it starts to get kind of weird, and that's why you got the Cowboys ahead.
Right, 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 right. But it says three or more clubs head to head. But
They haven't all played each other yet, so you can't even do that. Now you gotta go to the next
okay.
one.
But that's why I don't understand because if it's still head to head.
I think they all would have had to play each other first.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. That's
Yeah, I
super.
told you it gets crazy,
Yeah, that's
and it's
mad
crazy
confusing.
because in the AFC, it's like I said, it's endless teams with like 8-6, 7-7 records. So we might have like three-team tiebreakers, four-team tiebreakers. Like it's gonna get crazy unless
Wow.
some of these teams start separating.
That shows you how crazy this season has
Season
been because I've
is.
never had to even think about this stuff before.
Yeah. Usually it's just kind of like a head. It's like one. It's like a straightforward head to head. It's like who beat who. You get
Right,
that. You get the higher spot. But now it's crazy.
right, right. It's been crazy. Um, let me see. Uh, move on to the AFC. I mean AFC, where the Chiefs are looking good. We talked about them a little bit. I guess because this is so like it's so close in the AFC. Which teams do you see to be maybe the deadliest or the scariest team to play? Just because so many teams are on streaks, so many teams seem to be playing good, but at the same time bad. It's very confusing.
I think. Well, one thing I'll say is I think that I can't even say I think because I mean there's a lot of big matchups like the Patriots play the Bills this week and I think whoever wins that game is probably going to win the division. Like if the Patriots sweep the Bills, then they win that division for sure. But if the
Right.
Bills win them and they split it, I think there's a good chance the Bills will win it. I think for real, anyone who ends up in the AFC wildcard spot right is going to be like a kind of a sleeper pick, a dark horse pick, and I personally think that right now I think that's what we're going to see. I mean, we're going to see um, either the Titans or the Colts be in one of the wildcard spots. We're definitely going to see the Chargers be in one of those wildcard spots because they're not going to catch up to the Chiefs, and we're going to
Right.
see one of those AFC East teams, whether it's the Bills or the Patriots, be in that spot. And I think either like I feel like this is definitely the conference where like I wouldn't be surprised if we see like two or three road teams wildcard weekend just end up beating teams like the Bengals are kind of shaky. The Titans are injured and they don't have Derrick Henry right now. The Patriots got a rookie. Like if any of these teams were to like play a team wildcard weekend and they lose, like I wouldn't be like, oh damn, like, that's a big surprise. Like, I wouldn't, the Colts got a crazy running game. The
Right.
Chargers got Justin Herbert. The Bills got Josh Allen. Like no, then any of those teams can beat any of the teams that are currently in the division leaders section right now, except for the Chiefs. Like I think the Chiefs are just kind of like definitely they're definitely the cream of the crop. Like I know it took a minute to get there, but I think they're definitely the cream of the crop.
Okay. Okay. So you all in. You all in on the Chiefs. Nothing about the Chiefs kind of concern you.
Nah,
Okay, that's fair. I
unless
like that.
I mean their defense is just like unless for some reason their defense reverts back to like
Yeah,
early
man, that
season
was the
mode.
worst defense I ever seen in my life. Ever in my well, I was watching which game was it? I was watching them play the Bills, and Josh Allen was just throwing the ball in the air, turning around like he was just throwing the ball as far as he could, and it was just like touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. Like,
The
bruh.
one thing I'll say is they still can't stop the run. So
Yeah, right,
if
right,
they play the team like the Colts, I think that'd be an interesting matchup. Like if they played, I mean, shit, they played like the Bills. Even the Bills was running with Josh Allen and they was having
right, right,
success.
right.
So that's the only thing. But I feel like the offense is kind of like gotten like back to. It might not be like exactly what it was like last year, um, but it's probably like 80% of what it was. But the defense is like way better than it was before. So it's kind of like a
Yeah,
trade
yeah,
off.
yeah.
It's like, all right, the offense might not be as good. It's like the offense isn't scoring 35 a game. They're scoring like 28 a game. But the defense is like not giving up 30 points a game. So honestly, at this point, barring an injury, I know they got some cool stuff going on, but barring like
Yeah.
a crazy injury, I think that they're gonna run away with the AFC.
Yeah, I mean, COVID is definitely temporary, but right now in their COVID, I think they just lost the offensive lineman to the COVID.
They lost their
Um,
kicker. I mean, I think their kicker is definitely out because they say he's unvaccinated. I don't know about like Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelsey, but yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, they only got one game ahead. The funny thing is that the Chiefs lost to the Ravens, they lost to the Bills, and I'm pretty sure they lost to somebody else in the AFC, and they still ended up being the number one seed. Well, right now they're the number one seed.
yeah, because this win streak has
They
been
lost to the Chargers too, so that was
right,
three of
right,
their losses,
right,
and
right.
they still the number one seed. So it's like it didn't even matter. Like
Yeah, I
I
don't
think
think
they
they.
just
I
had
don't think they want to play the Chargers again. Their last two games went down to the
yeah
wire,
yeah
super down to the wire. It looks like Justin Herbert is able to match Patrick
Patrick
Mahomes
yeah.
throw for throw, which sounds crazy to say, but I mean, I guess it is what it is. Like he plays well. He shows up against Patrick Mahomes. Um, yeah, I mean, this is the AFC is definitely more interesting. Like every team in here, I feel like can beat any team. I
I mean, I don't know about like. Well, even so, like even if you look at a team like the Browns, like they look like they kind of dead in the
oh no
water.
no no not the hunt, not the hunt. I mean
Okay, no,
all
but
the
I'm
real
saying,
teams.
but hold up, but I'm saying, even the Browns beat the Bengals,
That's true. That's
and the
true.
Browns aren't out of the division, man. They are not out, like so. Pretty much, like this is like a real big weekend, man. Like if
That's true. That's true.
whoever wins the Bengals Ravens game is probably going to win the AFC North.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even like let's say like the Ravens beat the Bengals, they still not even in the clear. Like they would have a one game lead, but they
Right.
wouldn't even be in the clear because they gotta play the Rams next and they
Right.
gotta
Right.
play the Steelers to finish the season. Like those are not easy games. The
Yeah.
Browns could still win the division. Like don't sleep on the
That's
Browns.
true. That's true. The Browns can. You're right. You're right. I was sleep. Here I was sleeping on. I don't know if you see me yawn a few times. That's for the Browns, bro. I mean, here I
I
was
mean,
sleeping on
shoot,
them.
I mean, I'm a people might call me a homer for this, but I don't think the Dolphins are gonna make the playoffs, but they won 6 straight. Their end of season schedule it's a little tougher, but I think they're gonna beat the Saints on Monday night.
Yeah,
They
for
could
sure.
definitely beat the Titans,
Yeah.
and they already beat the Patriots once. So if
Wow.
I'll put it this way because I was looking at like all these projections. If the Dolphins win their next 3 games and the Bills beat the Patriots, it's like a 90% chance the Dolphins make the playoffs.
Oh my gosh.
It's
Wow.
crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's
I
not. It's
mean,
not over. It's not. This whole thing isn't over. I
it's
know.
always yeah. This season has been crazy down to the wire.
Like,
It's like
can you imagine if the Dolphins started 1-7 and then they make the playoffs? That's never happened in NFL history.
really,
It's never. No team that started 1-7 has ever made the playoffs.
man. Brian Flores is the truth. He's the
That's what
truth.
it's looking like.
He
That's what it's
might be the
looking like.
chosen one off the Belichick branch, man.
Yeah,
They
because all of them
be
been failing.
terrible. He really might be the truth.
Yeah,
I mean, well, let's fast forward to next week. We kind of alluded to it. Week 16 matchups. I guess I should have added the Bengals and Ravens game, but these are the ones kind of circled that kind of caught my eye just because of the implications that they have going forward. Um, Bills and Patriots, I guess in the fight for their division, that's going to be a big one.
yeah.
Especially because of the 3 passes thrown by Mac Jones the last time they saw each other. Who you got in this one, bro?
I've been going back and forth on this one. I feel like I'm gonna go with the Patriots just because they're at home.
Right.
They kind of had like an extra day because they played on Saturday night, so they kind of had like an extra day to prep and everything. And like Bill Belichick's record after a loss is like
Yeah.
you don't lose 2 games in a row.
Right.
So this is like a big divisional game at home. I don't know. I think it's definitely I'll put it this way: the Bills can't run the ball like the Colts did
That's
last week.
true. That's true.
They just can't.
That's true.
So I definitely think the Patriots might be going to win that game. And I know. Whatever. If there's any Dolphins fans that end up listening to this, that's not going to make them happy because they need the Patriots to lose.
I think they might be happy with me, man. Because I think I got the Bills, bro. I think I got the Bills winning this game. I
can't bet against Bill Belichick. I just can't.
That's fair. That's fair for sure. I mean, I just feel as though I think the Bills. I think the Bills gonna win this game because they feel like they have to win this game. I mean, it's been a month of uncertainty for them.
Shoot, a lot of teams got they have to win.
That's true. That's true. That's true. But I think the Bills have the ability to win. Yes, their run game, kind of struggles, but I think that Josh Allen could throw them to a win. I mean, that's a tall task against the Patriots defense, but I don't think he could be built. Josh Allen isn't a rookie quarterback anymore. I mean, he showed flashes of greatness in this month too. I know he started off bad that Bucks game, but I watched the rest of that Bucks game. He threw them back into that.
He did.
He threw them back into that game, and their defense was playing pretty well at the beginning of the game, and he threw them back into that game. He reminded me kind of. That's the first time I ever kind of compared him to Big Ben because I thought he showed flashes of Big Ben in that game, the way he was able to move in and out the pocket and make the throws that he was making on the run. So I don't know. I think something's telling me that the Bills are gonna win this game. That something could be tiredness, so it could be completely wrong. Lead me down the wrong direction, but for some reason I got the Bills on this one. But Cardinals and Colts, I think this game is important just because the Cardinals, 2 losses in a row, their division is on the line. Yeah, what do you think is gonna happen? I mean, I guess it's gonna let us know if the Lions game was really a fluke or not. Because if they can beat the Colts, then I think they're the real deal because the Colts kind of proven that they're the real deal. So, what do you think about that?
Yeah, it's an interesting matchup. I really wouldn't be surprised either way. I don't know. This late in the season, it's like I think I would just go with the hot team.
Right.
Jonathan Taylor he's just cooking right now. I'm not sure if that Cardinals defense is good enough to stop him, and it's like Kylie just seemed kind of off. The Colts have a pretty good defense. We don't talk about the Colts defense, but they got a pretty solid defense. So this late in the season, I'm gonna go with the hot team. So I'm gonna go with the Colts.
Yeah, I think I'm with the Colts too. I think I don't think there's much you can do about that run game. And I mean, the stats speak for themselves. When over 100 yards,
They undefeated.
they don't lose. So I mean, I think it's gonna be another 100-yard game for Jonathan Taylor. He makes even more of a statement that he's MVP worthy, and we'll take it from there. And then the last game on these matchups is LA versus the Vikings. Important game because the Vikings are trying to cling on that last wild card spot. LA is trying to win their division. Yeah, so who you think? These
I
are
gotta go
both
with the Rams.
the Rams. Okay,
I mean, both teams look kind of shaky when they played on Monday night.
right.
Um, but the Vikings didn't look good, bro. Like Kirk was kirking it up.
That's
I
true.
don't know
That's
what he
true.
was doing. So facing like a better defense, I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with the Rams on one.
I I think I'm gonna go with the Vikings, bro. Like I think I think the Vikings are a very dangerous team. Like
Yeah,
I think
you're
they can
right.
win. They can win any matchup they play.
They can run
And
the ball. They got a great receiver. And
they can do everything.
they got a solid defense. I think it's great,
Right.
but
I think they can win. I think they can win any games. And back to my thing with Matthew Stafford. I doubt that Matthew Stafford. Well, I just haven't seen it before. Granted, he was on the Lions, but
Lions,
I just
yeah.
haven't seen him string together a lot of high pressure clutch games
I mean,
before.
have you seen Kirk do that?
That's true, but Kurt will win you one if he's not supposed to. If he's the underdog, Kurt will win you one.
That's true. You got a point. You got
If
a
there's
point.
no expectations on Kirk to win, Kirk will win you one. So I mean, we'll see how it goes. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams win, but I mean, I'm just leaning with the Vikings, leaning toward the Vikings right now. Um, yeah. I mean, all right, well, those are the picks for the weeks. And I mean, I think it's time to move on to the NBA. Where this guy has come back. The prodigal son has returned. Oh man, Kyrie's coming back, bro. I'm so excited because I'm not gonna lie. I miss Kyrie, man. I miss Kyrie. Watching Kyrie play last season was some of the best basketball I watched just because watching him play is so fun.
I was real quick. I was on Twitter earlier today, and there
Right.
was like the highlights from when they 5 years ago when he was on the Cavs and they played the Warriors on Christmas Day.
Ooh, I
Yo,
watched
Kyrie was.
he was cooking. That's one of
I'm
the
not a
best.
big I'm not a Kyrie fan, but I was like, Kyrie was cooking.
Bro, that's one of the best because I was that was when I was tired of
The Warrior.
the Warriors by then.
I
So I
was
wanted
too,
the
yeah.
Cavs to whoop them. And Kyrie was cooking.
I was happy as
He hit the
hell.
game winner. He did
And he
what
felt I was so happy, bro. Kyrie was cooking in that game.
hit the
And
go
he,
ahead bucket
oh
to
man.
put him away. Ooh, Kyrie was cooking. I miss Kyrie. Like, say what you want about Kyrie. He is fun to watch. He's fun to watch. So I'm excited. They said they're gonna figure out, let
Yeah,
him play the
man.
games he's eligible for. Um, which is also into question because the NBA is in disarray. Joe Johnson just got signed by the Celtics. Uh,
They signed everybody from the 2010 to 2014 All Star teams,
oh
bro.
my
They
goodness.
got
So
Kemba off the bench. Kobe got Kemba off the bench and hooping again. Like this joint crazy.
yeah, so this is gonna be. I mean, this is gonna be interesting. This is an interesting development, and obviously Kyrie isn't back. So I
Yeah.
mean, not that I think that that's really changing anything because people are still catching.
COVID regardless. Yeah,
Yeah,
most of
they're still catching COVID right now at a high rate, but we'll just see how this all plays out. I think it's gonna be interesting. It's funny. I think you were on the episode. Were you on the episode? You were on the James Harden Ben Simmons episode. Weren't you?
I
Weren't you
was.
on that episode? Hey man, listen, that trade does not sound as bad as when I proposed it.
You said Ben Simmons for Kyrie straight up.
No, Ben Simmons for James Harden straight up. That trade does not sound as y'all. People thought I was crazy for that trade, and that trade does not sound that crazy
No,
right
but
now.
what I said was, I think what I said was, the trade isn't as crazy as you say, but
Helps
the
both
Nets,
teams.
But do the Nets like think that they really become that much? I feel like the Nets are making the Sixers better than the Nets would actually get from that trade.
Wow. I mean, I don't. I mean, I think I would disagree with you, bro. I mean, I think so. So James Harden is currently leading the league in turnovers. He's leading the league in turnovers.
He might be leading the lead in assists too.
He's
He's up
assisting.
there.
He's
He's up
assisting
there.
well, but I'll say this: don't you? Ben Simmons could do what he's doing
Yeah,
right
well,
now.
I think also part of it is like I don't know what it is, but it's like ever since Kyrie, like they said Kyrie wasn't gonna play. It's like I don't know what's going on with Harden. He's like,
Yeah, I mean, I
it's like he's got to score more, and like he just like it's like he forgot to score. Like I don't know, like he
I
just want to
think
be
it's the
Steve Nash.
calls, the calls that changed him. He's not getting as many calls. He did start to pick it up, and I think
Yeah,
he still can put together a 30-point game. But I'm just saying, I think for them, they somebody who can switch all positions on the defensive end, somebody who's very energetic, somebody who can run up and down the field, give KD a bit of a break, because right now it's KD or nothing with the Nets.
yeah.
Even they're not winning when KD is taking games off and Harden is leading the group. I think within those games, Ben Simmons, they could win those games, because Ben Simmons has shown that even when Embiid out, he can take over a game. He just
Ben
needs some
Simmons
shooters
and
around him.
Kyrie.
And if Ben Simmons and Kyrie, that's come on, that's I mean, I'm not saying Ben Simmons is LeBron, but it's Bron and Kyrie. It's Bron. We've seen that before.
I mean, I don't know what's going on with Ben, bro. Like he just
That's true.
been
That's true. At this
MIA.
point, you don't know if Ben can play.
And I think that the trade looks a little better right now because Harden isn't playing the
Right.
way he was last year.
Right. Right.
Um,
Right.
but I don't know. I mean, I don't think that trade is going to happen.
Oh
I,
no,
yeah,
I doubt it's gonna happen. But I'm just saying the trade don't in the world of hypotheticals. Because last week, I mean, I like to throw out crazy trade scenarios. Last week, last week I was saying that they should trade AD for some Pacer players. Um,
bro. I'm 80. We gonna get to that. But
yeah, we're gonna get to
yeah,
that. We're gonna get to that. But
yeah.
I'm just saying teams sometimes I feel like teams sometimes look at the name, look at the history, but you gotta think about what this player is currently doing. Like, I think we're gonna talk about that, but I think that's the problem with the Lakers right now. And you just gotta see somebody where they're at right now, and then it's not like trading for Ben Simmons. You're not trading for another superstar. You're trading him for a superstar player. Somebody who has a talent whose ceiling could be LeBron James. And you know what I'm saying? So,
I don't think it's set. No, his ceiling definitely can't be LeBron because
oh,
he's not anywhere near the offensive player
right.
that
Oh, that's fair.
LeBron
That's fair.
was.
That's fair.
You
I
know,
think in terms of dominance, though, he
I
can be
don't.
his own version of he can be
It's
his own version.
funny.
Go ahead.
It's funny because people used to get on LeBron for like, or they still do for not being like a dog, not having like that MJ mentality.
Right.
If LeBron doesn't have that,
Oh, you said.
Ben Simmons definitely don't have that. So like
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
LeBron's
That's
not
fair.
going fourth quarters without at least shooting. Like he did that once in a
Would you
playoff series
would
and
you
made it.
entertain? Would you entertain Ben Simmons ceiling can be somewhere around Giannis offensively? Offensively, they're like
I feel like see again, like I feel
his
like
mentality.
Giannis has shown like a mentality and
Right.
a desire to like really get better and like be shameless in it. So
Right.
like Giannis will shoot that 3-pointer. Like Giannis is shooting like Giannis will
Right.
shoot like 4 3-pointers in a game and he will like airball one and he'll just shoot the next one.
Right.
Like
Right.
Ben Simmons, like he's not even that's my problem. That's my thing with him. Like, he's not even attempting these joints.
Yeah, but
So
I think even for Giannis admitted himself that sometimes he would get too high on himself, he would get too low on himself. So he admitted at one point he had trouble with the mental part of the game as well. So I mean, I just don't want us to say that Ben Simmons is never going to get to that point.
I mean, I'll put it this way. When did he get drafted? 2015, 20.
Yeah, I think 2016. Let me see.
Yeah, has a.
Yeah, I think it was 2016.
I mean, he's been in the league for a good
Yeah,
five years now,
2016. Yeah.
and you cannot tell me with a straight face that from the time he got into this league until now, he has improved his offensive game at all.
Oh, okay. I agree. I agree with you. But to counter that point, I think that it's impressive that his ability, and I agree that he hasn't improved, but his ability, he hasn't improved at all. And he's been an all-star this whole time. I
But
think
my
he
but,
still
that,
has.
but that's my thing. That's my thing. He's been at an all-star level for like 3 years.
Right.
But it's like, is he ever? And that's the thing that I go back to the Harden trade. Like, it's not as crazy as you think, but it's like Harden is like you were trying to say like Harden, like you're trying to say like Ben Simmons is not like levels above Harden. Like I don't, I mean levels below Harden. Like I think
Yeah.
he is
Huh?
because while Harden might not be like the on ball defender, he's not an All NBA defender like James Harden. I mean
Right.
like Ben Simmons,
Right.
but I mean his offensive game combined with his like effort on defense. I mean he plays solid team defense. He'll play good off ball defense. Like Harden, like they're definitely in different levels. Like James Harden is a former MVP,
That's fair. I
and
mean,
Ben Simmons is an All Star. It's definitely levels to it. Like Ben Simmons is a
but
great
I
player, but
think
it's levels.
I think that Ben Simmons' weaknesses were exposed with the Sixers because their best player is a center. I think that the fit for Brooklyn fits Ben Simmons better than the Sixers would fix him because Kevin Durant can do everything.
But okay,
He
but
can.
this is what I was saying.
Right.
If you make that trade, are the Nets better?
Yeah.
And if you make that trade, are the Sixers better?
Yeah.
All right, so hear me out. Which team is more better if you make that trade?
I think it balances out. I think it's even.
I don't think so.
You think the way James Harden is playing right now, you think the way that James Harden is
Well,
playing right now.
I think the hope is that and part of the reason why. See, we should talk about Kyrie for real, but I think
Right,
that
right,
part of the
yeah.
reason,
This is a tangent, but this is a good
but
conversation.
but part of the reason why they brought Kyrie back is because they thought that with Kyrie not being there in the COVID situation, it was like they were taxing James. So it's like now when Kyrie comes back, all James is gonna do is be like he's literally like remember when they were kind of trying to
Right,
figure it out last year, and he was like I'm gonna just be James was like I'm gonna just be the point guard. I'm literally just gonna get like 12 assists a game.
right.
I'm gonna shoot like 12 shots. Kyrie, you're gonna be the shooting guard. That's pretty much like what they're bringing Kyrie back to do.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know.
if you're saying that they had to bring Kyrie back because James Harden's load was too much, James Harden used to be his load was as he had the highest usage rate in the league for
Yeah,
years.
which is why I mean you're right. I'm like I don't know why. I mean,
That's what I'm
I
saying.
don't.
So like you can so I don't think that James Harden as is. I think that he helps the Sixers, but I can't confidently say that he helps them more than Ben Simmons would help them because listen, defense, regardless of whether your shot is on or off, you can always play defense. You can
That's true.
always defend. Ben Simmons can always guard the other team's best player. Sometimes James Harden's shot is not falling.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? So and I think that with having Kevin Durant on your team and then bringing back Kyrie Irving, the offense handles itself. They don't need him. They don't need the extra. I mean, it's always good to have a ball handler that when you switch and have a small point guard on you, he can go down to the paint and baby him. Ben Simmons could do that. That's a mismatch that you don't have with James Harden. James Harden isn't producing offensively the way that they thought they would. So, I mean, honestly, if you think about this trade right now, I mean, granted, I'm saying all of this assuming that Ben Simmons is at least as good as he was at the end of last season. He hasn't played basketball in a while, so he might come back and be a dud too. But but I'm just saying, if he's at least as good as he is last season, I think that the Nets would be better off than the Sixers would be if they made that trade. Because I mean, he has proven that he can take a team even up to last season. That if his best player isn't there, all he needs are guys around him that can make shots, and he can win a game by himself and be the number one. I mean, with the Nets so far, I mean, last season James Harden proved that too, but since his injury and this season, he hasn't been able to prove that. So I'm just saying, I think it is kind of a spare of the moment trade, which I mean, when we get to the AD thing, which is to me, AD's way overdue on that on that. But but I do think that like yeah, Ben Simmons is just as good. But we did get off super off track. And what we were talking about was Kyrie coming back. So with consistency, do you think that that will mess up their chemistry in any way, or what do you think?
I mean, well, it seems like all the players are like, shoot, Kyrie can come back and play half the
Right.
game. We don't care. The funny thing is that they say he was coming back, and then the very next day they say he was in health and safety protocol.
Right,
So
right. Yeah.
um, I don't know. I mean, it's like it's weird. It's like he's gonna be able to play. I think probably like 30 something games. I guess after he comes back off the COVID protocols,
Wow.
and he can't play in New York. He can't play anywhere in New York. So he can't play in the Garden. He can't play in Brooklyn, and he can't
Wow.
play in Toronto because they said if you vax, you can't come in.
Oh
Um,
wow.
so it's gonna be interesting. I mean, I like literally I never heard of this in my life, like in any sport where you're like a part time player and you just play the home or the away games.
Right.
I've never heard of this, so I can't even say. But I mean, I was really in the mindset that like when they traded for when they got Kyrie uh KD to come, I was like, yeah, it's a wrap. They're gonna win the East. And obviously, that was the bubble year and those guys weren't playing. But when they got Harden, I was like, it's a wrap, man. Like,
Right.
it's a wrap. And to be honest, if they got all those three guys in the playoffs, Giannis was going home, bro. Giannis was going
Yeah,
home.
last year, but now I don't feel that way. The way if they're not calling calls for James Harden in the regular season now, they're not calling. They're not
But
giving those
no,
calls in the
but
playoffs.
but my thing is, if Kyrie comes
Oh,
back and
Kyrie comes
again,
back.
I,
Right,
I don't
right.
I don't know exactly. I don't know how this. Can you imagine like a 7 game series? Like let's say it's like the Bucks. Let's say it's like the Bucks in the Nets in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh,
So Kyrie plays the first 2 games on the road in Milwaukee, and then he can't play the next 2 games in
yeah,
Brooklyn.
that's crazy.
So I don't know how that's going to
Crazy.
work. But if
Yeah.
let's just assume they sort it out, like nobody's beating the Nets because James is literally just gonna be like a point guard. Like he's gonna be like a souped up like Steve Nash. Like
Right.
like he's gonna be getting 15 assists a game, but he's still gonna give you like 23.
Right. Right.
Kyrie doesn't. He's not a player that gets those type of calls for real. For real. Like he'll dance on you, get to the rim, and he's not gonna get those like those BS shooting fouls.
Yeah, he
KD
worked
doesn't
for his.
really
He worked for his.
KD don't really get those
Yeah,
BS
he
shooting
worked for his.
fouls. So
Yeah.
I'm telling like I mean I kind of entered the season. I was just like if all of them are healthy and they playing, they're gonna sweep through the East. And I think the East is really good. I think
I think yeah, you're underplaying. You're underselling the East. We gonna talk about these beasts in the East later. I already know. I love me a good underdog. Listen, Dan. I love me a good underdog. The team that nobody likes. That's the team that I'm rooting for. So I got me a new squad in the NBA, and we're gonna talk about that a little later. I love this team, but I mean, I think with the Nets, I think Kyrie coming back here and there, it might take a while for him to get adjusted to the game. I mean, granted, I don't know his skill set. He might just come back cooking. To be
I mean,
honest, I
Kyrie is
don't
not
know.
like Kyrie. Kyrie don't play defense. He just play offense, bro. I think he's
Right,
gonna be straight.
right. So I think he
Yeah.
might be straight and come back and cook. But I don't know. We'll see. I still think the East are tougher than you're giving them credit for. I wouldn't want to play. I wouldn't want to play the Bulls in a seven
Yeah,
game
you're right.
series right
You're
now.
right. No. Okay, I may have spoken at it. I don't think they're gonna like sweep through the East, but
Right.
I definitely think they're the favorites. Like I think the
Yeah,
Heat
yeah,
once they
yeah.
get
I
all the
agree.
Heat once they
I
get all
agree
their
with that.
guys back, they're gonna be tough. The Bulls
Yeah,
are gonna be tough. Um, I'm
Philly's
trying to
always
think.
tough.
Philly's always tough. Yeah, so
Yeah,
they're not gonna like. I mean, even the Bucks when they get
yeah.
all their
No,
guys, they're
Giannis.
gonna be tough.
They're my favorites, honestly.
Really,
Still,
I feel
Giannis.
like
I feel like Giannis can get 50 anytime you want.
I feel
And
like not having Tucker. I feel like not having Tucker is gonna be tough. And I don't know. Sometimes Chris and Drew be on that stuff. We saw it last year, but they was just on some stuff where they
hey,
would come out and they score like 12 points
when
in
they
a
play
playoff game.
when they've all three of them played, they've only lost like one or two games this season.
I
Like they
mean, when KD, James Harden, and Kyrie was playing, they weren't losing a lot of games
that's
either.
true. That's
So,
fair. That's true too.
exactly, I really think that I feel like they're gonna figure this part time thing. I mean, I feel like it's they're gonna find a way where Kyrie's gonna play all the games. Like
Right.
there's no way that they're just gonna like when you get to the playoffs, like you can't like not be able to play like 3 or 4 of the games in the series. Like that doesn't make sense. I feel like
Yeah.
somehow he's gonna get vaccinated or they're gonna find some type of loophole and he's gonna play. I think they're gonna win the East.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right, man. Cause I'm a good about that James Harden take if they don't. But anyways, let's move to the West where the Lakers are stressing me out, man. The
They stressing me out,
The
man.
Lakers are stressing me
I'm
out.
tired of staying up till 1 in the morning watching these folks every single night.
Every week. I mean, every time I watch them play, it just stresses me out. The turnovers, the injuries, the inconsistency, the bad shots by Russ. Bron's actually playing all right, but I feel
Bron
like
is hooping.
yeah,
Bron is hooping.
Bron is cooking. Will they ever figure it out? I don't. Personally, I don't think they will. What do you think about the Lakers situation?
Nah, I'm done with this. It was about like a month ago where I was like, they gotta get rid of Russ because Russ is like I had to deal with Russ as a Wizards fan
Oh
last
man,
year, and it was like it was great when it was good, but when it's bad, bro, it's
it's
terrible.
bad. It's hard to
And
watch.
it
He's so
and
hard
it
to watch.
like this whole team, like none of the parts add up, bro. Like none
Yeah,
of the parts add up. Like I know
yeah.
they got some COVID stuff and injuries, but I was watching the game yesterday and I see like Rondo and Russ and
On
like
the court
Braun and
together.
Icy.
I was literally ranting about that last episode. Rondo and Russ on the court together will never make sense to me.
It was a mess, man. And we might need like I think it was like a 27. I think it was 2017 the trade deadline. We might need something like that where like Bron just gets rid of everybody, bruh, and we just start from scratch. Because I know people saying like the GM LeBron did this. LeBron picked the
The
team.
GM.
I think LeBron. I think they went to LeBron and they was like, "Do you want Buddy Hield or do you want Russ?" And he was like, "I'm gonna take Russ." And
Right.
if that's true, then I think Brown has to take some heat for this. Because the thing is, you remember when it was like earlier in the year, whenever it was, they were supposed to get Buddy Hill first, and then something like that was what the reports were first, and then something weird happened, and they was like, nah, the Wizards are trading Russ to LA. And I was kind of like down. I was like, damn, like I wanted Buddy Hill, bro. Because the thing is,
No.
they was going to keep some of the role players. I think they was going to keep like
Yeah, if they would have kept the people, if they would have
they
kept
they would have kept
the
like Trez and one of them other guys, but now they
yeah,
literally just like shipped
the
everybody away for
Kuz,
Russ.
it don't
And
make
then
no
they
sense.
and then they got like I mean like Melo been hooping. Like I think Melo been like hooping in his role. He been doing well.
Right.
But it's like, bro, if I gotta see DeAndre Jordan play basketball again, like he really just I
Look,
don't know, man. Like, it was bad last night, bro. Like I was watching like at one point it was like DeAndre Jordan, It, uh Rondo and like LeBron, and I'm just like, this is just like not like an NBA lineup.
uh,
Like
and the crazy thing is, I don't think they'll ever have their full lineup. I mean, well, possibly they will, but
it's not
it's
gonna be
just
for a
been
minute
hard.
because
Yeah,
now AD out for a month, and
right.
it's like I'm just done with AD, bro. Like
He's
I'm glad he got.
always hurt. Oh, don't get me started on this man, AD, man. AD literally 2 years ago. No, not 2 years, not even 2 years ago, 2 seasons ago, which was less than 2 years ago. If you were to make a poll in the NBA as to who was the better player, Giannis or AD, it would
It
have been
would be like
hands
50-50.
down. What? It would have been hands
two
down.
years ago.
Anthony Davis. Two years ago when the Lakers won the championship, when the Lakers won the championship, and before the Bucks had won anything, if
I mean,
you would
but even before the Bucks won anything, Giannis was an MVP. So
he was an MVP, but there was always a looming question on whether he could shoot or
yeah,
if
you're right.
I'm talking
I
about
get your point though. I get your point
you
though.
if you would have had to go to, and then AD was an MVP candidate. He was second to LeBron that season. He was MVP candidate that season. And if you would have went down, you would have asked everybody, who would you rather have on your team? I think a lot of people, even if you want to say it's 50-50, today it's zero. It's zero.
I'm done with
Today,
AD, bro.
everyone is taking Giannis. And
I'm done.
it's a testament to how bad he's been in the last 2 seasons,
Even
man.
when he's healthy, he's
Right,
bro is 6'11",
right,
and he
right,
want
right.
to shoot 3-pointers.
It,
Bro,
he
I was watching him play the T-Wolves the other night.
Oh my goodness, man. When I tell you a game has never made me, oh my God, I turned the game off. I didn't even see him get hurt. I turned the game off early because he do.
bro,
I couldn't watch it no more.
Cat was calling him little.
Oh my God,
He was saying he was a little
Cat,
boy.
Cat was calling, bro. Cat was babying him.
Bro,
Like,
he had Cat going on a mean streak, bro. I
oh
never
my
seen Cat
goodness.
like that before.
Oh my goodness. AD is infuriating. And the crazy thing, so last week, so I've been telling my friends, yo, trade AD, trade AD. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously, it's like the Harden thing. You know that's not happening.
I know it's
But
not happening, but I'm gonna still be pushing that back. They gotta.
right,
I
right.
I
Like
need AD gone.
we were
I'm sorry.
discussing it. We were discussing it. We were like, okay, would you do this trade? Swati came like with it after the episode was over. But would you do AD for Sabonis and Miles Turner and Russ and THT for Jeremy Grant? That's
I would. I'm not gonna. I might just do it just because like what's going on right now is not working. But see, this is the thing. Like I remember early on when they had like those Heat teams,
right.
and it was even. Let's not even go that far back. Let's go to um when he went back to the Cavs the second
Right,
time.
right, right, right.
So he even like when they had Kyrie and then Kyrie left, like they was like getting mad shooters around LeBron. Like, it was like LeBron and just four shooters. Like Kevin Love
Right.
would be on the floor and they have three other shooters. And something weird happened where like I said, that 2017 when they just like literally traded everybody on the team,
Yeah.
they was like, we don't want to we don't just want to surround LeBron with shooters. We want to surround him with like guys who can like handle the ball, who can like get to the cup or whatever. And it's like, nah, like just surround LeBron with
He just
shooters.
needs shooters. He just needs shooters. Shooters
And
and guys
that
that can play defense.
and they like put this team together with the Lakers, and it's like literally nobody can shoot the ball.
It's crazy.
Like I don't know. Like AD gotta go. I
AD
like
got it.
Russ. At least Russ is like there every night. I'll say that. I'll give him that. But
I think the Sabonis and Miles Turner for AD is perfect.
I
I
don't
think
think that. I don't. The thing is, I mean, well, there's like been reports that the Pacers are trying to like kind of like low key like
yeah, clear
restack.
house. Right. That's why they're
But
good.
would they even take AD? Like, would
That's
they
the
really
thing.
want
Like,
AD?
I don't think that's the thing. His draft stock is plummeting. The fact that the Lakers would even be willing to trade him would mean that his draft stock has plummeted. Like, you know what I mean? Because AD is was looked at prior to the last 2 seasons probably a untradeable pick. So I don't know
If I'm being for real, LeBron, what, 36, 37?
yeah. Trey Braun, you better
No,
not.
no, 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 no. No,
I
if I'm Braun, I'm
you
asking
better
for a trade. But whenever Braun leaves, bro, I'm getting rid of AD and I'm just starting over.
yeah,
I know that they always want to have a star and like that's kind of like their fear, like not having a star. But it's like AD, like you can't
he's
count on
not.
AD. AD was supposed to like be the man now. Like Braun was not supposed to be playing 36 minutes a game and
Yeah.
having to score 35 points just for you to like be down 10 to the Suns. Like AD was supposed to be what Giannis is doing right now. That's what AD was supposed to be doing.
Right, 100%. Moral of the
Yeah,
story basically is Giannis is not. I mean, not Giannis. AD, not that guy. That's what I've
he's not that
taken
guy.
away from this season.
He's not
He's
that guy.
not that guy, and that's. I mean, that's okay. But now I know I have no expectations for him. And I used to love when AD first came to the Lakers. I used to sing AD's praises. AD top. I used to say AD is basically KD but thicker. You know what I'm saying? I used to wild out. I used to wild out about AD. But it's just his mentality is indefensible. Like I watched a game
he
where the Jazz were playing the Wizards and you see Rudy Gobert, because the Wizards are a small team, you see Rudy Gobert use his height to the advantage and basically try to abuse the Wizards. Like every chance he got, he ran into the
AD
paint.
don't even want to bang down low,
Never.
and when he does, he be getting cooked. Like Cap
Yeah.
was like backing him down.
Yeah. Baby him. Baby hook. Ooh, over the shoulder. Like he was Olajuwon. He was cooking him.
That
Or
game really
Hakeem.
just like fried me because I was just like you know how Nigerian parents they be like, see your mitts, see your mitts. It
Right.
was like that's what you're
Not
supposed
for
to be
real.
doing.
That's bruh. He needs the African spirit. That's what AD needs, and he just don't got it. Giannis is hungry. Giannis want it. Giannis is passionate.
Somebody said when when AD fall, it's like dropping your iPhone with no case. You just be like, like
He like
I be cringing every single time AD fall. Like, is he gonna get up?
AD lays on the ground for like 10 minutes after every fall. You like, oh my God. And then he gets up as if he hobbles, he limps for like 3 possessions, and then he starts playing regular again. It's just annoying.
You be saying Braun whenever he fall, Braun just be looking at him like, bro, get up.
Get up every time. But let's move on to a more positive topic. I told you I got a new team.
Yeah,
I got a new team, baby. I got a new team. They need in the NBA. These Cleveland Cavaliers are the real deal. Just off a roster construction alone, I just love them. How can you not love them?
they got like 2 everything.
They just decided to get a team with all bigs who can shoot, all bigs, stretch the floor. They got decided to get Rubio to kind of mentor Sexton. I like what they've done. They're coaching. Listen, I by no stretch of the imagination do I think that they're going to do anything significant in the season, but it is
They're
fun
a fun
to
team.
it's a fun team.
For sure.
It's a fun story to follow.
Not for sure. I mean, it's about time, bro. Because Cleveland was struggling those post-Bron years, and they just
right.
It seemed like they couldn't get it together, so they finally got the pick. They made some nice trades. They got what's the name? They got the Fro. They got him in there. Mobley's looking
Allen.
good. Mobley's looking like he might be a rookie of the year.
Yeah, for sure.
Now it's a fun team. They were saying, Kendrick Perkins was saying, Braun might request a trade back to Cleveland.
Trade back, man. At this point, that might be the only thing that can salvage the Lakers season. I mean, the Lakers are still projected to go to the playoffs, but
they're not beating anybody in the playoffs, any of the top dogs. But
no,
but Cleveland's a fun team. I was like, they definitely caught me by surprise. I didn't think they were going to be that good. I mean, and again, you never know. It's a long season. But yeah, I mean, I was watching them a little bit when they were playing the Wizards, and I was like, they got some. Like Mobley, he like that.
They got some ballers.
Garland's been put up some crazy numbers. So they definitely caught me by surprise. I mean, it's Cleveland, so it's like without LeBron, it's like you don't really pay attention to them. But
right,
they definitely been doing their thing, and it's funny because like for so many years, and even now, I think a lot of people would say like the West is definitely better. Like from the top dogs in the West are like definitely better than the
right.
But I mean, when you go down, like I said, I mean, you got the Bulls who are right in there. You got a team like the Cavs that are in there. Obviously, you know about the best teams like the Bucks and those guys. But there's some like young and upcoming teams in the East that I think are going to be good in a couple years.
The East is like the AFC right now. The AFC and the West is like the NFC right now. They got the juggernauts. The AFC got but the East has like the depth, like
even like the Hornets. Like the Hornets are just kind of like a young team. They just not really putting it together yet. But when Melo really gets it together, and maybe they get like one more piece, like they're gonna be like a serious team in the East.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is we've seen now that like once you're in the tournament, you can string together some games. We saw the Suns go to the finals. We saw the Hawks go to the Eastern Conference finals. Like you can string if you have star power. If you have a player that can figure it out, a player your team can rally around. It's anybody's game. I don't know if the Cavs have that. I doubt that the Cavs have that. But I mean, it'll be fun to figure it out. It'll be fun to figure out.
Yeah, I mean, I think I mean, what's their record right now? I mean, I definitely think they can fight for a play-in spot
They're,
at the least.
they're 19-12 right now. They are
Wow.
they're third in the East right now. They're third in the East right
I'm
now.
not see. I don't want to say just because it is, but I feel like the COVID stuff definitely been
Oh, you gonna
no.
don't do that.
I know they was third.
Oh,
Wait,
dang.
but hold up. What's the record to like the fourth and fifth place teams though? Because
Okay,
The Bulls were like top three, and then the Bulls got a COVID outbreak, and like they've been playing with like G League players for the past week.
fair. That's fair. The
So
Bulls are nine. The Bulls are 19-10 at 2. The
yes,
Cavs
okay,
19-12. The Heat are 19-13. Bucks also 19-13.
okay.
Sixers 16-15. So it's like they
Okay, so they're like legitimately like within the top
yeah, they're
four.
in the thick of
Okay,
it. They're in the thick of it. They're number 3 right now.
see,
I
all
saw
right,
the
all right.
I saw the power rankings. I saw the NBA power rankings, and they were the number 16 in the NBA. So it's
Okay.
like,
I
so
mean,
they get attention. They're playing well.
yeah,
I
they
mean,
doing their thing. Shout out to them.
and I'm kind of happy for Colin Sexton just because I always saw that meme where he's staring at the dude while he's shooting the free throw. He's staring at the dude the whole time.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just was like, okay, well, I just want to see a player like that make it into the final. I mean, a playoff, make it into the playoffs. Because I think he would be very entertaining if he had a good team around him.
Yeah.
Like if he was balling out, if he has a game where he balls out, I think his mentality, the way, just off that clip alone. Granted, I'm not
You
gonna
can tell
lie.
he just like a dog. He just
Yeah,
fun. He just a
he
fun
just
dude to
has.
watch.
You can tell he has to have some type of dog in him. But for you to stand next to your opponent while while free throws are being shot that way, and while he looks at you, you continue you being stared at, and then you catch that the dude is staring at you to stare back and look at me explaining the meme. But it's just he got some dog in him. I think it'd be
Yeah.
exciting if they make it to the playoffs. I'm definitely rooting for them, like personally.
Nah, definitely.
But
They could definitely be like a Hawks team where it's like you don't really see them coming, but they got
right.
a nice young squad and they kind of make some noise in the playoffs for sure.
Right. I mean, okay. Well, um, that's it for the show. That's it for the Basement Bros Sports Podcast. Dan, definitely tell them where to follow you. Where they can find your articles, and yeah, appreciate you for coming out.
Not for sure. Thanks for having me on. So you can follow me on Twitter at Daniel Oyefusi. That's Oyefusi. Miami Herald, MiamiHerald.com. Yeah, so every day got something up on the Dolphins and whatnot. So just check it out there, and really on Twitter, that's where I post all my content. So that's where we be having fun,
Follow Dan.
talking
He's a
how much we can't stand the Lakers and all that. So
Dan's
definitely
a
got a
fun
good time.
follow. Dan's a good follow, man. Definitely follow Dan.
I
All
appreciate
right.
that.
Of course, man. Thank you again. And peace. Come back next week, yo. See ya. All right. In this broadcast.